Another zombie game, and contrary to the popular meme, it is not a bad thing at all. To be honest, undead enemies might be my favorite type to fight in games. The ideal mix for me would be post-apo zombie shooter RPG, and surprisingly, that is more or less what we get here. I know, after the not so good at all Dying Light 2, but I reviewed earlier this year, I should be more skeptical and less enthusiastic, but I just can't help myself. This is simply what I like, so bear with me as I dive into the dark comedy zombie video game that is named Dead Island 2. The story in this title vaguely reminds us of the events in its predecessor from 2011. Many years later, another outbreak of mysterious pathogen decimates the whole area. This time around it is not isolated island, on the opposite. It is pop culture center of the world, twisted version of Los Angeles called Hell A. Bulk of the action is set in Hollywood, oh how fitting it is indeed. This time around we got a whole bunch of more or less assholes, they're gonna do whatever is needed to survive, but not all is lost in humanity. Even though on the first glance we can say about most characters in this game that they are not very likable. When we look a little closer we can recognize ourselves in them. Yes, of course we got plenty of stereotypes of people living in this legendary place, but it is all well done and adds to the dark humor and tone of the game. We even get to meet the voodoo guy himself. Sambi is the name. The cast is really diverse, and no, I do not mean diversity in its twisted modern form. What I mean is that we got people from different lanes of life, upper class millionaires, more or less known actors, social media influencers, music stars, their assistants, house helpers, and even one hell of a military veteran that survived a chopper crash.
Run! Go! Get to the chopper!
Main storyline is decent for what it is, and for goodness sake I am so glad it doesn't treat itself too seriously, because after the flop of Dying Light 2 I would not bear another badly written zombie game. It just all fits nicely together here, and to be honest I really enjoyed my time during the main plotline. There is even a cool factor borrowed from Resident Evil series. I mean the rapid mutations on the screen, I was positively surprised. The only thing I had some gripes with were the side quests. Some of them were simply annoying or uninteresting, but they are mostly okay to be honest. Okay, the decent story is all fine and dandy, however we do not launch these games for some masterpiece of a tale to witness. We do it for the gameplay, in which we got a chance to annihilate some undead foes in various ways. I am very happy to report that the combat both melee and ranged is really good here. The first game was very good in this aspect as well. In the second one we got a bonus aspect in form of advanced zombie damage model. What do I mean by that? Just look at the screen and you will know. But to put it in simple terms, we got the system that reminds me of Soldier of Fortune series, or the damage models from fine car games. We got to enjoy changing zombie bodies in the ways I could not safely tell on YouTube. Oh well, it is what it is. The gameplay is so fun and good that I will mainly focus on its flaws, but during that time keep in mind and remember that I very much enjoyed the game and my nitpicking is just that, pointing out some minor annoyances and imperfections. The first one would be all the power sources for opening gates and doors. You're gonna do it many times and it can get old pretty fast, but at least getting through all of them is optional, so no big deal here. Another thing would be too much loot lying around for my taste. Reminds me of loot everything you see meta from Fallout 4, but after playing games some more it's not that bad, but could be better if only devs applied proximity autopick for everything, not only cash and ammunition. Thirdly, elite type zombies are damage sponges with only one gimmick to support their mechanics. Well, after Diablo 4 I think we are all used to that, and no, I do not know when I will stop kicking Blizzard's game for not being as good as I hoped for. Maybe the biggest flaw in the whole gameplay is that some zombies are immune to some damage types. I was never fan of that kind of gimmick. I would be fine with decreased damage, but immune is just straight up annoying. At least the death and respawn system is pretty fair. It will get you spawn your defeat point if you haven't died in a while, but when you die more often it transports you further away, so you get some punishment but nothing severe, so do not worry, it is not a Souls-like game. The level design is pretty good, even if the environments look same-ish. The antidote for that we can find in the movie studios area of the game, where we play on different sets. I really like that. When we are already talking about the playful things, toys that we can get and enjoy for Arsenal's choice are very well designed as well. We got plenty of variety for both melee weapons and firearms, plus we got the modification system to add even more options in that department. The fun factor goes even higher when we add all the explosives lying around, and attached to the undead as well. Who doesn't like explosions and zombies flying around to fill the picture? Even more so when you have plentiful of means to add to the mix, because beside weapons we got skills, curveballs and fury mode that we can use in combat. So many options. Zombies themselves, however, very nice details on the ones we fight. Not only we got different groups of them with functionality, but some of them are covered in glass or barbed wire. Very well thought, it makes things more interesting and less bland. But what keeps us from having unadulterated fun is the fact that we are kinda always short on cash. Matching weapon level to ours, definitely not worth it. So much cash for minor upgrade, repair very costly as well, but for the best weapons maybe it's worth. Upgrade slots are the cheapest option in order to make something useful with your weapons. What else? Let's think for a moment here. Well, I am thinking as I am writing the script, not in this very moment, but I left it here for some more dramaturgy. Yeah, I know, it is weird and not needed at all, but hey, I enjoyed it nonetheless, so bite me. Where was I? Yes, I didn't like the side quests where you gotta kill zombies in specific ways. I thought it was very contrived. There were some logical puzzles along the way, nothing too brilliant, but they were okay. I really like that you can do side quests after you complete the main storyline. More games could use this type of solution. On the technical side of things, we get very nice visuals and good performance, which becomes more and more rare these days, unfortunately. Don't get me wrong, it is of course not without its shortcomings. For one, hair on characters look oftentimes not very good, even really bad sometimes. There is also very much disliked by me graininess on some shadows and reflections. I guess it's the cost of good performance again, like it was in the case of Resident Evil remakes. Also, no player model reflections in the mirrors felt weird. What else? Yes, lip sync is not the highest tier, but considering the development hell that this title have been through, there is no wonder some things are found for ideal, but that's a whole another story. Let's talk about the most impressive technical trait of the game, zombie destruction system with very accurate hitboxes. I mentioned it briefly before and I will continue to be restrictive, but it really makes the bulk of the gameplay here. Sound and music in the game is very good, so no complaints here. I really liked the music theme from main menu. It made my early mornings game sessions really enjoyable from the start. That, and the fresh made coffee of course. UI is overall pretty good, but one thing sucks here, namely keybinds in crafting menu. They are awful and you cannot change them, so strangely enough, there is really not much bugs or glitches in the game with such intricate environment interactions. I only fell through the pavement into oblivion once during my whole playthrough. Call me impressed. I could talk longer about Dead Island 2, but I really don't need to. It is simply a very good video game and I can recommend it to any mature player that likes to fight zombies plagues in their free time. I know that the game has some issues in co-op play, but I haven't had chance to test that, so that's that. This title is not some kind of masterpiece that will be praised in essays for decades, but still, it is a solid game that is fun and satisfying, and that is what we need most of the time. That said, I wish you all the best during the next zombie apocalypse that you will experience, and beside that I will see you in the next Great Late Review.